Good evening and welcome back to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. This is the Dungeon Dudes weekly Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition livestream campaign. My name is Monty Martin, running our campaign as Dungeon Master.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin, playing Wilhelm Wolfsbane, the human swashbuckler rogue. And we're joined today by our good friends.
Jill Denitis, playing Rudy Whitaker, the shifter Eldritch Knight.
And Joe O'Gorman, playing Wrath, the Aasimar Warlock.
Thank you for joining us once again. If you are just tuning in for the very first time, welcome. We are the Dungeon Dudes, and Kelly and I post new videos every other Tuesday and every Thursday on our YouTube channel, where we cover everything D&D, including advice for players and guides for Dungeon Masters. So be sure to check us out at youtube.com/dungeondudes.
You can also join us live on Tuesday nights when we record the campaign live on Twitch. You can check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch the video episodes of the show on YouTube. And also, you can listen along on your favorite podcast platform. So you can listen along on either Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Spotify.
Yeah, and as you may or may not have heard, Kelly and I are making a book. We are so excited that in June, towards the end of June, we're going to be launching our very first Kickstarter campaign to fund publishing Dungeons of Drakkenheim as a 5th edition module that you will be able to run for your very own. If you are inspired and interested in the world of Drakkenheim and have wanted to bring it to your very own gaming table, you will be able to do so because we have converted all of my campaign notes plus a lot of cool additions into a 5th edition adventure that you could run for your very own. So we're going to be we're partnering with Ghostfire Games to bring it to life, and we're going to need your help to do that because we want to have this with all the glitz and glam and all the cool accessories that are associated with a full-on product that you would see for 5th edition. And so to bring this to life, we're going to bring it to Kickstarter. So be sure to head on over to Drakkenheim.com because you can sign up for the newsletter that will let you know when the Kickstarter is going live and give you a couple of cool teasers of some of the upcoming artwork that we're working on for the book. We're really excited. We just got the re-envisioned and updated map of Drakkenheim, which we're really excited about. We're planning on some really cool stuff to go with the book as well. So please check that on out. And of course, we started a little bit new tradition from now through the Kickstarter. At the intermission today, if you're following along with us on Twitch in chat, leave us a question on something that you might want to see from the book. And after the intermission break, we will take a question from chat on a preview or something that is in the book. So if you have any questions like that, once we do go to the break, let us know and maybe we'll get a cool preview coming for you. With that though, let's return to the shadows.
Drakkenheim is no more. For 15 years, we foolishly believed the madness and mayhem of that crumbling city was confined to the ruins. We were wrong. Insidious horrors have crept out of the shadow of Drakkenheim into a world unprepared for such nightmares. Tales of strange magic, swirling haze, and unspeakable terrors echo through the villages and towns surrounding that accursed place. Now, the Dusk Wardens, a new band of heroes, are tasked with driving out the seeping tendrils of the spreading darkness before it takes root.
And welcome back to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. When last we left our heroes, they had scored a major victory. Allying themselves temporarily with the Knights of the Silver Order, they drew out the Duchess into a deadly trap of their own and slew the horrific monstrosity on the docks of Ashshafen. Now, they find themselves in a position of consolidation. Having helped the Amethyst Academy secure the body of the Duchess, River and a detachment of mages from the Amethyst Academy have arrived at the Elven Lighthouse Tower to confer with our heroes about the next steps. Meanwhile, the Silver Order has made camp just outside of Ashjaffen on the mainland as well. Our heroes, though, choosing for the time being to stick with their well-known and familiar allies. So, having now had the opportunity to rest and recuperate, you are in the tower, the lighthouse tower, in the quarters that Valtar Banemoon has kept for himself. River and about a dozen other delegates from the Amethyst Academy have taken up in the tower as well, and there are several purple-robed mages now lingering about, walking through the tower, taking copious notes in their books, ordering around apprentices, and several of them have books floating beside them that are scribbling things down with quills that are writing on their own. As you take your breakfast and recuperate from and finish recuperating from your previous battle, you know that River would like to confer with you three and Valtar Banemoon about the next steps and what you would like to do, and how the Dusk Wardens project will continue.
I'm eating my breakfast, and well, that was a ride.
I'd say so. I mean, I still can't believe we did it. We did it. We're saved the bay.
You know, if you had asked me a year ago if I would be taking breakfast in an ancient elven ruin talking to thousands-year-old mages about the origins of delirium, well, after killing a giant fish monster, well, frankly, I wouldn't have believed it at all.
I would have asked how hard Buck had hit you in the head with maybe like the back of his axe or something.
Yes, it seems unfathomable to me the lengths we've gone in discovering the impact that delirium has had, and unfortunately the situation just seems more and more dire the more we uncover.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, continue.
Oh no,
the nightmares have subsided. I don't know about you two, but now all I see is the one true idol, Bruce. He has taken his rightful throne as the centerpiece of the dreams that are sort of a waking nightmare, although I welcome it because he is ever loving and giving.
Is it like Bruce eating the fish nightmares? Now you got cat nightmares. Is that about accurate?
Yes, it's much more comforting, the cat nightmares. The fish nightmares were so wet, so slimy, so full of bones.
And as you just as the words come out of your mouth, the Bruce finishes licking his butt and shoots you look at you like, you know that thing where like you catch a cat licking their butt and then they look at you with their eye, like they just look you right in the eye, like what? Bruce looks at you like that, Wrath, and you feel his mind touch yours and say, the nightmares are only beginning. Soon I will show you the next steps. And then he goes back to licking his butt.
And I turn to Bruce, and to the table I say, I am ready.
For what?
For the next part of our mission, of course. I hope you are. You had a good night rest.
What?
Yes. Indeed, we should start discussing what our next moves are. I'm sure that this isn't the end of the problems. I mean, we still have delirium here in Ash Bay. We still have so many mysteries to solve. But I, before we get into that, I do want to say, Rap, I'm quite proud of you for standing up to the Duchess. I saw it trying to get into your head, and thank you for not giving in.
It offered me, it tempted me several times, knowing how competent and capable I am as a follower. It knew that I could be used as a deadly instrument, although Bruce was able to in a very short time gift me any of the abilities of the Duchess. She was but a pawn of something much greater. Now she's a heap in a boat, so I made the right call, I believe. Back to the right horse, if you will.
Yeah. As you finish your breakfast, River steps into the chamber, and she produces a scroll case with a letter in it, and it has the sigil of the Amethyst Academy on it. And she turns to Wrath and says, "This is for you."
Why, thank you. I receive too much mail nowadays, seeing as I have left my post for several weeks. I can't imagine that it's quite overfilled and full of letters that I should have been replying to, although I've been quite busy.
The opening it up, the sigil is one that you recognize well. There's two seals that mark the letter, and they are the personal sigils of two archmages who you know quite well, Alabaster and Penumbra. These are of the Directorate, and the simple the letter reads quite simply, "Well done. Looking forward to seeing your progress. Heard you lost one of your fingers. Please place one in this case. Send it back to us. Want to make sure that you're okay. Much love."
About 9 missed birthdays, several missed... A letter? A letter they want my finger? This is ridiculous. Bruce, did you see this? Did you see this? They had the gall.
River sighs, and she says, she turns to you and says, "Yeah, it's really, they asked you, did they ask you for a finger?"
Yeah, they don't want to, maybe they could send a ring. Maybe a little bit more acknowledgement from the Academy would be nice, but...
Well, you just did get your 4th ring. You've got to demonstrate that you can cast a 5th level spell before you get a 5th ring.
Demonstrate that I can cast a 5th level spell? I slayed a creature from another world. I single-handedly brought this creature down from the depths, and did what other mages could not, and they ask for my finger like some kind of token.
River turns to you and she says, she says, "Wrath, I know it might not feel like it, but I think that this might be their way of saying they care. Last year, when I started working in Drakkenheim, I got a similar letter, and they also asked me to send them a bit of hair. I don't know what they're into, but they might want to just keep an eye on us, that's all."
Wait, who's asking for these body parts?
Some just archmages, it's very complicated. Look,
Why do the archmages collect hair and fingers from the entire academy?
Well, it's not uncommon. You are familiar with a scrying spell, yes?
Yeah.
It's a spell that allows one to watch someone else. Well, if you have a part of someone's body, it's pretty infallible casting the spell. It might, and, well, Alabaster and Penumbra do have a personal interest in making sure that Wrath and I are doing okay.
we're not young anymore. That's the thing. And if they knew what we were doing, what I'm capable of, even you, River, must see this as an insult. This is well below your capabilities, and my own being way above your capabilities, and this tiered structure of capabilities, and Bruce being watching over us all. That I don't need a watchful eye. I already have that in Wilhelm. I don't need I have my protector. It is Bruce. I do not need their charity. They want my finger. Fine, I'll give them my finger. They can watch what I do. They'll watch and they'll see that I am well beyond my rank and file. This is ridiculous. Who gave this? Did they give this to you? Did they send this to you, or did they send a proxy?
Wrath, rule number 98, no matter the situation, never lose your cool.
Lose my cool? I'm not reading from a book, Wilhelm. This is just like them. Right, Bruce?
I get the sense that there is more than just a sort of Amethyst Academy Archmage and student connection happening here. I don't want to make assumptions, but am I correct? You seem very heated about this, and
oh, just old teachers that didn't quite believe in me, that didn't give me what I needed to succeed, and it wasn't them that was there for me. It was Bruce.
You don't need to impress them.
Fine,
you've impressed us.
And I'm angrily pulling my glove off and grabbing one of my fingers and jamming it in the empty container, and I'm mumbling and grumbling to myself as I
turn to River.
Haphazardly seal the envelope.
I give you a little rub on the back.
I turn to River and I say, "Old school teachers, huh?"
Yes. Close teachers, both of ours. And you might just say that, well, having teachers like Alabaster and Penumbra mean that for Wrath and I, we have a little bit of a shadow to crawl out from under.
Huh.
Didn't want my finger when I was in Pure Haven. Just mumbling and grumbling to himself as he reassembles the letter.
I say, well, Wrath, at least these teachers, they care about that. They want to keep an eye on you. Why wouldn't you want someone that maybe you've been close to in school to watch out for you, you know?
Do you want people spying on you?
Yeah, I understand that we're working.
To look at you every night and every day at their whim, and only after you've already jumped through hoops of fire, swam through seas filled with haze and filth, become contaminated, became gooey, my bones disappeared and I became floppy like a fish. I have almost died on several occasions. Now they want one of my fingers to study. It is a ploy, it is a trick, and they can have it so they can see just how far I have gone.
Good for you, Wrath. Good for you. We're all proud of you. We're all very, very proud of you.
Don't talk down to me. Don't patronize me. And when you go to rub his back, he does the angry shuffle.
All right.
River hands the scroll case with the finger back to one of the other apprentices that is here. Says, "You know where to take this."
And don't lose that. I only got 9 left.
River turns and says, "Still, in any case, this project has been really successful. We have this. I've talked a little bit with Valtar Banemoon, and he is open to the idea of the Academy Mages setting this place up as a base of operations, as long as the 3 of you are involved. Thus, this tower, he tells me this place is known as the Celestial Nexus, and thus this tower is now a base of operations for the Dusk Wardens."
The Celestial Nexus, the base of operation for the Dusk Wardens. That probably sounds cool on a resume.
Yeah, I think it will serve nicely. It's close to a problem, but far enough away from interlopers, which is perfect for us. The only thing that I have to forewarn you with is the Amethyst Academy is very much stretched thin right now. We are trying our best to restore the tower in Drakkenheim and directing many resources here, given its remoteness. We'll do what we can, but it's not like we're going to be able to dedicate tons of personnel here. The most of the mages that are here with me are here because the Drakkenheim assignment was too dangerous for them. So just understand that we'll study what we can here. We'll see what we can do. It's going to take us a little bit of time to see how this place works. This gateway that Valtar Banemoon has shown us is unfathomably intricate and complex. And I think I spoke a little bit too soon when I suggested going through it, letting alone actually getting it going. Whatever this Duchess creature was planning on doing by opening this thing up, it had no intention of any sort of stable gateway. Whatever it was going to do was going to be catastrophic, not reliable in any sense.
I think we've seen what happens when anything goes through an unstable gateway. And I turn to Wrath and I point to his fingers.
We had suspicions, and it seemed like a raw sort of attempt by a obviously outclassed wizard, a magician, if you will, parlor tricks, using a giant stone of delirium and trying to just conjure. We saw what happened when it collapsed. That could have happened to anyone passing through it.
I would describe it more like giving a toddler a match in an armory.
Well, that sounds dangerous.
Yes.
Touché.
It's a little bit preliminary, but with what they were trying, I'm not sure whatever that Cardinal was trying to do, or the Duchess was trying to do. I wasn't here. But this tower is on the edge of a thin place, within the haze. And we've seen what can already happen from Drakkenheim. A few months ago, there was a planar rift in Castle Draken in Drakkenheim. And all the conditions for such a rift that existed in Drakkenheim were here. It would have only taken lighting a match to do that. What you prevented was a catastrophe.
Drakkenheim is a wasteland. It's desolate. You're saying that was possibly going to happen again here?
It's very technical, Wilhelm, but what she's saying is that we stopped a great event and we are heroes.
I mean,
I'm saying that had the intention of this creature been to simply rip open a hole in reality, it could have done it, and you stopped it.
well, I would consider that a job well done then.
So would I. It also means that we do have to make sure that this place is safeguarded very carefully.
Now, I still have so many questions about the delirium and this tower. The Elven ruins, the meteor. I feel like we're scratching the surface of something incredible, but I mean, forgive my lack of arcane knowledge. I might be the least appropriate person to ask questions of this, but also I find myself baffled by the implications of what we've uncovered here. There's layer after layer of danger and terror that we just keep finding.
Yes, it is. But what are your questions?
Well, the delirium in the bay, was that delirium that had landed there from the original meteor that broke through the atmosphere and breaking apart as it came down, or there's still the delirium problem of it being shipped out of Drakkenheim? How do the Elven ruins tie into this all? And it's a mystery to me.
River replies, I have a hypothesis. Dransmond, mouth of the Dran River. It's downstream from Drakkenheim, quite a ways, but we have conclusively determined that the Dran River is carrying fragments of delirium down from... we're reasonably confident, at least, that fragments of delirium, small amounts, are being carried down the Dran River and being deposited here in Ash Bay from Dransmond. Mm-hmm. This has been going on for 15 years.
So we might be talking not about a chunk of the meteor, but about the fish people were collecting all the chunks of delirium that came through the river and creating a sort of contained area where it was permeating from.
Well, that and the fact that delirium grows.
Right.
Now, what's happened here in the bay is quite conclusively a disaster, frankly. All the more reason why we need to make this place an outpost. It'll take us some time to ascertain, but if the bay is contaminated with delirium, we're going to need to find some sort of way to either collect it, clean it up, or harvest it, or contain it. That's going to be a very difficult task.
Well, I think on top of that, you got the Silver Order out there ready to... Well, they already started burning the place down, but they know that this delirium is here, and they've got, I would say, the opposite idea of what you have in mind.
On that note, actually, River, permission to ask a question.
You don't need to ask my permission to ask a question.
Well, like to ask a question of you, but without... I want to hear from you as a person, less so you and your academy jargon. But what is so bad about destroying delirium? I understand that we are using it to research, but if your goal is to get the Drakkenheim Tower back online, you have resources there to study, and I'm sure you have more than enough. The delirium that's leaving Drakkenheim and spreading throughout the world, I don't see a negative to the Silver Order destroying. Our goal is to stop the spread of delirium. So what is the negative? What is the negativity of the Silver Order's presence here?
Wilhelm, let me ask you a question. Do you think swords cause death? Do you think we should destroy all the swords in the world to stop all the death that they cause? Because swords have caused a lot of death. Arrows have caused a lot of death. Should we destroy all the iron in the world just because iron makes swords that kill people?
I mean, I suppose.
And for that matter, does it even seem likely? Like, could we actually destroy it all? Is that even possible? The Silver Order is able to take a piece of delirium and smash it with a hammer. But I've seen crystals of delirium that are massive in size. The amount of delirium in Drakkenheim alone, well, they're talking about burning the entire city of Drakkenheim to the ground. That's how drastic an action they would have to take. That's what they're thinking. And so now if there is delirium here in Ash Bay, how exactly are they going to destroy it all? Not that I don't think that it's possible. Not that I don't think that there's an argument that it is dangerous, but I'm not even convinced that it's possible to destroy all the delirium that's already here.
Have you tried talking to the Silver Order?
I destroy it when we can convert it into potions that can potentially help us against our fight against delirium, or powerful weapons that aid us in combat about the monsters that are created from this horrible disease. We can fend off our enemies.
The truth is, the Silver Order doesn't want to destroy delirium. They just don't want us to have it. The Silver Order is afraid of what the Amethyst Academy will accomplish with delirium. And to be perfectly honest, they should be. We have the potential with delirium to change the world, to do things that the Silver Order and the Faith of the Sacred Flame could never accomplish. And they don't trust us because they think that we're evil sorcerers bent on conquering the world, rather than people that want to use our ingenuity to protect it. They don't trust us at all, and they just don't want us to succeed. That's all there is to it. It's not a matter of some higher purpose that they think it's evil and demonic. The Silver Order has always been interested in oppressing Mageborn. The Silver Order was formed to destroy the Amethyst Academy.
Now that I do know. I've read the books. I know of the history of the Silver Order and the Mageborns. Many wars and battles before the Edicts of Lumen were written, but I do see the good in what the Amethyst Academy is attempting to do, but you cannot tell me that you have done an adequate job when there's delirium in places like this, turning entire cities into fish people and rat people who are warring in the sewers, and duchesses who are enslaving entire towns. There might be opportunities for alliances here, but at the same time, it feels like it would be hard to convince either one of you. I mean, the Silver Order won't stop at protecting the outskirts of Westmar. They'd probably want to march on Drakkenheim and destroy it. And you, the Amethyst Academy, not you specifically, but I understand the value in studying it, because when a problem arises, a new problem, a new threat, analyzing and studying and researching and investigation is key to solving new problems. It's just a tough situation.
The thing is that the Silver Order believes that all magic is evil sorcery. And they think that anyone born with sorcerer's power or arcane magic is inevitably going to be corrupt. And so they thought for a very long time that it was just fine to kill us because of the way we were born. I don't think that's right. And they just want to destroy delirium because, yes, it has arcane power to it. Yes, it is dangerous, but they believe that there's no way of controlling it. They don't believe that there's any way of using intelligence and wisdom and looking at something from a different perspective. They're short-sighted and close-minded. Yes, they might have their heart in the right place. They want to protect people. So do we. We just differ on the specifics of that. I think that there's a lot of people in the Silver Order who think that they're doing the right thing. But they've drawn their own conclusions, and they drew their conclusions before they thought about what the answers would be. It might turn out, sure, maybe it will turn out that we study this delirium and we study it and we find out that yes, it can't be controlled. But we don't know that yet. We haven't conclusively demonstrated that it is beyond control, that it is beyond harnessing. It is dangerous, no doubt. But if we destroy it, we don't even know where it comes from. We don't even know what it is. Sure, what if we destroyed all the delirium? And by destroying it, we lose all chance of actually understanding where it comes from or what it is or how it was created. And then it just comes back again or emerges again or something else happens and it could have been the answer, but we destroyed all the evidence.
I see where you're coming from, and I hope you can pardon my severe questioning. I'm just trying to wrap my head around how dangerous this has become. The situation here at Ash Bay was dire. There's an entire town gone, and this is the second town that we have come across that has suffered major casualties just because a piece of delirium far smaller than the meteor in Drakkenheim has been discovered. And I understand that the Academy did not have the resources or ability until recently to actually begin intense study. You didn't have your position in Drakkenheim. So I understand that the work that we're doing might help solve the problem. Any research that we can uncover on the origins of delirium could in turn lead to a better understanding of it, which in turn helps people. I just, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did here if it wasn't for the Silver Order help.
You made the right call, and fortunately, hopefully we can keep their involvement at arm's length. The Silver Order might be useful from time to time, but we did try working with them in the past, and it ended up poorly. They're set in their ways, and that's the end of that. It might be that there is some threat that we can work together against, but it's not clear that there is and certainly the Duchess, this creature, was a threat that we could work together on. But when it comes to delirium, we have different ideas about how to handle this threat best.
I think going forward with the Silver Order monitoring what they're up to would be the wisest way about it. They're going to help take care of some of the problem. Why not let them do their work? But if they're going to interfere with the work that we're doing, that's when maybe we need to stand our ground in what we believe in, what we can do with everything that's going on with delirium.
Indeed. Delirium is exceptionally powerful. And while its immediate applications so far, we've been able to make... It is such a fertile and powerful source of magical energy. And the applications of it... We've sought so many different ways to power magical items, to power arcane wards. It's just so pure. It's just so efficient at powering these spells. It's like nothing else. And it's available in a quantity that we've never had things like this before. It's a potent resource.
River, there's something you should know. Speaking with Voltar, you mentioned that the delirium, it grows.
Mm-hmm.
And that we may not know its true origin. The creature, this Duchess, it also spoke that it knew its origins, although we believed it to be a ploy. Voltar has seen this crystal before, trapped in this tower for millennia. He knew what delirium was. His people said that they could make it. There is a forge within the tower that they use to craft all kinds of tools and things from the elements. He may not remember how to create it, but I believe that this could be an answer to the question, has delirium ever existed in any ancient text before the meteor?
Yes.
My arcane knowledge is a little rusty.
Yes, it has. We have found trace amounts of delirium before the meteor fell. We needed access to a few things beforehand, but... And this is between you and me, okay?
Get these guys.
The directors of the Amethyst Academy each possess a staff of power. That's their symbol of office. I'd never seen one of them before, actually used, until I saw the one that was recovered from the tower in Drakkenheim. And it had delirium built into it. And the tower in Drakkenheim has the deep cells where things were kept. And now that we've had access to those again, a few small samples of ancient delirium were kept there. Delirium that was nothing. It was like a chip, like the size of a finger compared to what's in Drakkenheim. Nothing at all by comparison. So, yes, it's been known, but it was where it came from before. I mean, possibly, who knows? These are ancient things, and there wasn't even a term for it. It was just recognized that this was a crystal with arcane power. At least that's what I've been able to piece together. So where it was before, where it came from, it's not clear. The only place that we know where delirium came from was the meteor that destroyed Drakkenheim.
In quantity, of course.
There's enough of it.
Curious, sir.
This
I'm curious, sir.
leads us to, I believe, what Rudy was saying about using these maps. We did find the abilities in the Elven runes. Isn't that right, Rudy?
Of course, we found this strange glowing map that, from what we gather now, has pinpointed the areas that have larger quantities of delirium in it. We saw Drakkenheim light up like a bonfire on it, and of course Ash Bay had plenty of lights there too. But it wasn't the only place.
Perhaps then we should go look at this again and bring Voltar Banemoon there.
I think it'd be wise for all of us to go take a look and see, maybe get something else out of it than our initial findings.
I'd be lying if I said my curiosity wasn't piqued by this glowing map. And for me, I just have to say that discovering these elven ruins has been one of the most interesting things I've ever done in my life. And I'm keen to find the answers and secrets that are held, because it feels important for what we're doing here.
All right, well, shall we do that today? Shall we head over to this other site that you found with Voltar and see what we can discover with it?
We may need to be careful.
Yes.
There might be a Hydra
Bit of a
stomping
Hydra
about.
problem. Also, it is not too far from the ruins of the Ash Bay.
Ashhafen.
Ashhafen.
Okay.
The Silver Order, we believe, has left, and they have to camp outside of the haze. The waters would be much safer, but we should move quickly.
Well then, you think that there is a Hydra there still?
Well,
Yeah, we just left it. It's probably for sure there.
it was a bit much. We fled.
There was a lot happening then, and
But we
I
do not
mean-
need to confront it.
no,
Do
I'm
you
sure it's still in the back there somewhere, and we just need to get in the front of the cave.
Can you make sure of that before we go there?
Yeah,
I
maybe
think we can do an
Voltar-
initial search party, and you know what? We can send you a message on the send stones when we're ready to have you by.
If we head out there and you just go and take a quick look and make sure that it's safe and let us know of the all clear, Voltar and I can join you.
We can do that.
I'm so
No
excited.
problem, River. We'll make sure it's safe.
We'll make sure there's no Hydras. Sounds like berries to me.
Also, River, thank you. I know I don't say it enough. But, you know, you're what I really consider my family. And I appreciate the level of trust you put in me during these missions. And I hope Bruce and I wanted to say we're happy to help.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you've been okay through all this. I worry about you when you get thrown into the fire like this, but you're good in the field, Wrath. There's not a lot of people in the academy that are willing to do the things that you do.
Yeah, I got a low bar, and I got 9 lives over here. So,
All right.
Don't worry, it's mainly us that throw the fire. We do the fire
lot of
throwing at people. So,
launching.
and I
Is
put
there
my
any-
armor on you, and I'm like,
We'll keep Wrath safe.
Is there anything that you need before you want to set out to do this then? Or anyone else that you want to talk to before you go?
One Hydra killing spear, just a Hydra slaying. Just one though.
I think we're good.
I think, I don't know, is there any, if we're expecting Hydras, how many health potions do we all have?
I mean, we healed.
Yeah, you would have had a long rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, River can give you each a potion of greater healing.
Oh, I had 2. I'll take another one.
Okay.
I marked it down on mine, Rudy, when I gave you one.
I had 1 and I have a superior, so now I have 2 greater and 1 superior.
I only have the 3 greater, so that works out. I think we're probably
And the ointment. I still have
I got ointment and I
2
got some
uses of the
healing.
ointment still. So.
We're fine.
I have one. Yeah,
It's 1 Hydra.
we can't even get hurt.
You kill it by chopping off its heads, right? That's how I kill everything. I assume that's how it dies.
I read this to kill.
It's some kind of like cave-in. We just we drown it. We drown it.
I think, Rudy, unfortunately, your standard MO is going to not be a benefit in this if the Hydra appears.
I mean, it hasn't failed me before, so I think I'll give it a go if it happens.
If there is a Hydra, you'll need fire. They have uncanny powers of regeneration, so you'll need to cauterize the wounds to stop it.
I have fire. I can throw fire at it and chop off its heads.
I will shoot it with a crossbow and hope for the best.
All right. We'll unfold our boat, gather our Voltar, and we'll see you, and we'll set out within the hour. Yeah.
Unfold your boat. You Amethyst Academy people have all the niftiest contraptions.
All right. So after finishing your breakfast and setting up, at the beach at the base of the tower, within the hour, River and another mage of the academy, a small bespectacled gnome, unfold their boat, and help you and Voltar Banemoon onto the unfolded boat. Voltar, stepping out from the tower, Voltar shields his eyes for a moment and he says, I actually don't seem to remember there being this much water around the tower. I feel like this was further inland. Curious.
I mean, a lot of geographical elements can change over the thousands of years you've been cooped up in there. I wouldn't be surprised if the water levels had changed slightly.
Slightly.
Have been many winters that had much more snow around, or we get snow here, right?
And this mist, that is the delirium haze, is it not?
Yeah, don't breathe that in.
I mean, you might have to, but don't breathe it in
Deeply.
extended.
Well, let's get going then. For my first trip out, it better be a good one. You said that this was the place where you found the messages that I left behind.
Yes. You might find a statue of yourself, Banemoon.
Strange. Well, let's go.
All right.
With that, the gnomes, the several gnomish apprentices pilot the boat out to the edge of the water, and there is a small rowboat that they can let down from the main boat that you can take out towards the cove.
I'll row us.
And so if you recall correctly, the cove is a large cave of the carved out of the cliffs, the rocky cliffs surrounding Ash Bay. And so there is a sandy bank scattered with rocks and sand inside the cove, and then there were the several caves leading back from it as well, and the river of water sourcing out from it. So I'll just pull up our map here and bring you over to where we were. I actually have your old tokens on here, but I think you might need to update these ones for level for the right level. Just check your hit points on there.
Because we lost our our max HP as well, right?
Yeah. So just make sure your tokens have the right hit points on them. Yeah. And so as you recall, there's kind of like the sandy beach up here. I'll place your boat there. So there's the sandy beach, and you remember the area well of the shallower water, and you recall the pathway that leads up towards where you entered the altar of the Duchess. And then the other pathway over here, which is where you found the sort of the globe in the other area. As you bring the boat up, what do you do?
I want to listen and see if I hear the Hydra.
I'm hyper aware,
high tide.
trying to I'm eyeing everything, trying to see if there's any movement. I'm definitely aware that we're looking for a Hydra.
Okay. At first glance, looking down the various pathways, there you detect no movement, but you'd need to, from where you are, this passageway, which is where you recall seeing the Hydra the first time, you need to kind of head up a little bit more to see that.
Friends, I think that if we are to travel here safely, and if this is going to be an important spot for us to frequent, to investigate, unfortunately, our due diligence would be to scout most of the surrounding area to see if the Hydra is still here. I also have reason to believe that it would be, which means that if it is, the only logical solution is to get rid of it so that we can come and go as we please.
I agree. I think we need to make this place as safe as possible, and we'll finish what we started.
Bruce,
Hooray.
Is there a Hydra here? And I'm gonna send Bruce on a little scouting mission.
Okay.
So he's going to approach silently and try to figure out if there is a sleeping Hydra or awake.
Bruce flutters forward, and the cove picks up the wind of the nearby from coming off the bay, and so there's kind of this whistling howl of wind that makes it difficult to hear. You kind of really have to get close to each other to even hear each other just at this part of the cove. But as Bruce flutters forward, he sees, just catching barely all the way down past the pillar, there is indeed the Hydra, this delirium corrupted beast, massive in size, now with 8 heads, that are angrily lashing out, devouring the corpse of some large aquatic mammal.
Well, anybody fought a Hydra before?
I heard we just have to burn it. We just use fire. Fire will kill it, yes?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be relying on you two. I guess I'll
The powers that I call from the beyond, it's not as primitive as fire. It is a power that is beyond description. It's more specifically, it pushes people around, but it's not fire.
So you guys don't have fire.
I have a crossbow and
I can make
a sword.
fire, and I take out my tinder and I start
Now, does
to
it just need
try
to have fire, or is the fire the only thing that hurts it? I guess we did not ask River enough questions about this Hydra.
You know, I mean, we have fought. Wilhelm kind of perks up a bit and gets his confidence face on. We have fought many a monster that we were unprepared for and did not know how to handle, and we have always come out on top.
All right.
This will be no different. We know that we can use fire. We will find out in the process how to use fire. Remember rule
I have
number 50.
firebolt. I have magic, and I go to be like, oh, no, I don't want to grab it over here. I have fire.
Rule number 52, confidence is key. So we will go in there confidently. Now the question is, should we go in quietly? Should we try to get the drop on this beast?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, as quietly as I can. No promises.
This creature shares a lair with where our map room is. We could still go to the map room and maybe feed
we can't
it.
bring the other ones.
And
Yeah,
keep
the
it
goal-
as a sort of guard pet.
You know, Wrath, could you start us out by turning us invisible, and at least we'll go from there.
I can.
If you can use your spells better, I might be able. Oh, I'm going to regret saying this. I might be able to sneak up and get the drop on it while you two hang back, thus instigating. Rudy, I know that you.
Wait. Bruce told us it has 8 heads, right?
Yes.
Yes, I don't quite know how to handle 8 heads, and the more I'm saying this out loud, the more terrifying it's becoming in my mind. I was going to say, Rudy, we're going to need your fire, so perhaps I should be the one pushing the attack on it and distracting it. But I also hate that idea.
I'm gonna do what I do best. Let's get in there. You know what? I can draw it in, and then Wilhelm, you come at it where it's not looking.
Rule number 90, muscles and might are no match for a skilled hand, a sharp eye, and some quick feet. I'll do what I do best.
All right. How will you all approach?
All right, I think, you know what, if I remember correctly, and you know what, I want to move up just a little bit to here. Can I see the 2 halls essentially around this rock?
Yeah, from where you are, the from the position that you're currently at, right? You can see the either side of the rocky pillars, but you don't quite have line of sight to the creature itself.
Rudy, I could take point. I can get up there without being seen. I won't instigate the attack, but I can get up there and at least get eyes and ears on it. And then,
I'm even thinking, could you get up there? Me and Wrath will make our way up. Get it when it doesn't see ya. It's gonna get angry either way, and then I can draw it in.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, I'll hide around where Bruce is, around that side of the rock, and as soon as you get a good shot on it, I'll come out and draw its fire.
Okay, who's going first?
I'm going to pull my hood up so that I get my elven cloak, and I want to move up to kind of the break in the wall, and I want to try to wedge myself in and try to hide in the rubble.
Okay. Give me a stealth check as you hide.
Oh, luckily I have a good modifier, so that's going to be an 18.
Okay. As you stealthily move forward, there's just this little gap here as you come up around this area right here. There's not really anywhere to hide as you move through here, and as you dart quickly from coming up around, right, and dart quickly into your position there, one of the creature's heads looks up and you see it snap towards where towards your position, and it begins to slowly. It stops eating. The crunching, sickening crunch noise of it devouring whatever this aquatic creature was stops, and it rises up, and one of the heads kind of like you can just imagine the head like snaking around like a snake that's interest has been piqued, just kind of pops up and it doesn't move from its position, but the heads just like two of the heads just start like peering around.
As soon as it does, I press myself up against the rocks and I pull my cloak over me in an attempt to hide, using the cloak as camouflage.
Okay, give me one more stealth check.
Can it be a hide check, which I get advantage on for my cloak?
Yeah.
That's going to be a 21.
Okay. You hide the position. The creature steps forward and is starting to move towards you. Rudy and Wrath, what are you going to do? You hear the low creaking, the pounding in the earth as this creature is starting to move. What are you going to do?
I'm going to start making my way towards Bruce's position on the north side.
Okay. Move yourself where you'd like to go.
And can I move, how it's loud, right? Because of the wind?
Yeah.
Is it sort of like masking some of my...
Yeah, you can move quietly. Just in this area there where you're at, there's not a lot of there's nothing really to hide behind, right? So,
does this pillar not block its line of sight, like the big thing in the middle?
Well, the pillar does block its line of sight to a certain extent, yes. But there's kind of this moment where, because Wrath, right where you are right now, there's all like you see what I mean? Like the line there, it is possible to draw a line directly to.
Okay, then I'm gonna go to is Bruce hidden?
Yeah, Bruce is hiding behind the rock.
Okay, he's tiny, he's small, he's a little guy. I'm gonna go to. I want to go this way instead. I want to use the rock as cover.
Okay, and Rudy, where would you like to go?
You know what?
Make my way up along this edge.
I'm gonna get in its line of sight, and I'm gonna go. Here, boy.
All right. Roll for initiative then.
Come on.
Rudy?
21.
Okay. Wilhelm?
16.
Okay.
18.
Alrighty.
I'm hiding. I'm not moving. I'm a little nervous.
Me too.
It's okay. I'm gonna get the drop on it with my rapier against this giant monster.
Okay. Well, with that, as you whistle up, the Hydra's heads immediately all dart for like they shoot up and dart forward like several alerted snakes, and they see you down the hall, and it begins lurching into a run towards you. Rudy, it is your turn. What are you gonna do?
Immediately, I let go a firebolt on this guy.
Okay.
I'm like, we started with fire.
Alrighty. You shoot the firebolt. Go for it.
15?
That is actually a miss.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I fire it, and it misses. I'm like, oh, my.
Yeah, it bounces off. Its scales are thick like armor, and it bounces off.
All right. And then I move away. Hold on, how far can I go? And I say, come here, you big scaly boy. Get over here. And I'm like, trying to draw it towards me and like get it all so that way if anything happens, I'm making as much noise to bring it my way as possible, so that way the guys aren't seen.
Okay. Wrath, it's your turn.
I'm going to let go a. Let's see if I can keep going up this side bit. Whoop. Whoop. 100 feet. Does it look mad? It looks mad, doesn't it?
It's pretty pissed, yeah.
I'm going to get up to here so I can actually cast Hex on it. And then I'm gonna start blasting it with Eldritch Blasts.
From that, actually, the position that you're in, is one of the few positions where it can't see you and you can't see it.
Then I'm going to.
Yeah, that's like the position where the rocky pillar actually does like obscure the line from where you are to where it is.
Okay, then I will ready an action that as soon as it comes into view, I'm going to fire an Eldritch Blast at it.
Alrighty. Wilhelm, your turn.
I am going to remain hidden.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ready an action that if it comes near me, I will leap out and surprise attack it with a rapier and hope that works.
And Bruce
Okay.
is hiding in this rock beside you.
All right. Well, we go to the Hydra,
Uh-oh.
and it begins lumbering forward. So it uses its first 30 feet of movement, and then I guess it's just going to have to dash. And that's where it ends up on its turn as it dashes forward towards its next meal. So it can very plainly see Rudy and Wrath. So I'm going to say Wrath. That's going to trigger your Eldritch Blast.
Woohoo! I get a 20 to hit.
That's a hit.
Woo! For 9 damage.
Okay.
And I'm gonna knock it back.
All right.
10
Push
feet.
it. Okay. That's about as far back as it can go because of the wall and because it has to go directly back. Second bolt.
A 17 to hit.
That's a hit.
For an 11 damage.
Nice.
And keep trying to. I'm still trying to push it back into the wall.
Alrighty. It's the body of it slams against the back of the cave wall, but it can't really go further back from where it is.
Now there's a fear in me.
Okay, Rudy, it is your turn.
All right, I'm gonna take another firebolt at it. 18?
It's a hit.
$16 damage.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Alrighty.
And I keep like calling like, here, boy, come here. And I just try to draw it towards the water over here.
Okay.
Come on. And just.
Nice. Wrath, it's your turn.
I'm following Rudy's advice, and I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna be running kind of backwards, sort of like, and this time I'm gonna cast Hex on it, and attempt another Eldritch Blast at it, getting a 20 to hit.
It's a hit.
But this time for 10 damage.
Okay.
And second attack, 25 to hit.
Also a hit.
Now, Hex I can apply on each one, can't I? I can do it on
Correct.
each.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
I haven't used hex in so long. For damage, 11 damage.
You blow one of its heads off. And the flame still licking in place around from Rudy's firebolt cauterize the stump, preventing it from regenerating.
And I'm gonna keep walking backwards as I fire this thing, and I'm gonna tell Bruce to help Wilhelm.
Okay, Bruce will need to fly up to the creature to do that.
Oh, you know what? No, he's gonna stay hidden. He's
Okay.
gonna stay in his little pocket.
Wilhelm, it's your turn.
I am going to very, very quietly crawl to man, how far can I go without? I want to still remain hidden from it.
That would be probably the furthest you could go while remaining hidden from it.
Okay, so I creep. I still have my hood up, and I'm trying to hide again from it.
I am the rock. I am the rock. I am the rock.
Yeah. And I take my rapier out, and again I'm going to ready a lunge as it comes by. I want it to pass me by so that I get it from behind.
Okay. With that, the creature lunges forward towards Wrath, and at that point, I'm gonna say that's when it triggers you, Wilhelm.
All right. So as it storms past me, I jump out and stab it in the side. This seems so funny to me.
It's huge too, right?
It's this huge giant monster, and I'm just aha! with
surprise.
So let's see how I do. I get a 23 to hit.
It's a hit.
So I pierce through its scales. I find the sweet spot between its scales. I'm gonna sneak attack it.
Okay.
$29 damage.
Wow. Ooh. You skewer one of its heads.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so what? Okay, so to make that make more sense, I lunge out and I actually run up its back and drive my blade through one of its head, pull it out, kind of drop off.
Yep.
And I'm going to move.
No, you're not going to move because you're ready in action to attack.
Right. That's not.
It's the Hydra's turn. So as you drive your blade down and begin to pull it out, the other 6 heads jolt backwards around it, and all 6 of them bite you.
I regret that. Not no.
Oh man. So I get a 22, a 27, an 18, and a 16.
The 16 misses.
And a 21 and a 17.
The 16 misses.
So I hit you 5 out of 6 times. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So that is going to be... okay, so each of these bite attacks does D10 plus 5 damage. So, yeah.
You're fine. You're fine. Everything's fine.
18. Those are... Wilhelm, you take 60 points of damage.
Oh, no.
Are you alive?
Wilhelm.
I reduce one of them by half. What's the one that did the most damage? And can it bring...
I rolled max damage on 2 attacks.
Okay.
So you could take 7 points of damage off.
How much was it?
53. 53.
So
I have 51 hit points.
Man.
Yeah. So the good news is by uncanny dodging, that means that you survive until the last hit, which means you don't take 2 automatic death saving throw failures.
Good. Good, but Wilhelm runs up this thing, stabs through one of its head, and immediately gets like...
Actually, you can't uncanny dodge because you used your reaction. Yeah, you use your reaction to
right.
make this happen.
Right.
So then it actually does matter. I have to calculate each attack because I have to figure out whether all these attacks, the first 4 attacks did a total of you have 51 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first 4 attacks did deal a total of 50. Would have dealt. Sorry, I actually have to do the math now because it matters. 45. Yeah, the 4th attack would have taken you down. So the 5th attack does 2 automatic death saving throw failures.
Cool.
Reading. I'm reading.
Guys?
No.
Wilhelm
Yeah.
stabs it through the head and immediately gets like chomped by 6 heads and flung to the side, I hope, to be eaten later or hopefully saved by his friends somehow. Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
man.
The good news is that Rudy and Wrath both get a turn to act. So Rudy and Wrath, just to reiterate, if you do not heal Wilhelm by the start of his next turn, he has a 50% chance of dying just by a death saving throw failure. So I will give you 2 the opportunity to figure out what to do.
Okay, so time starts to slow down in my mind. And I look at Rudy and I go, oh no, our plan, oh no.
Rudy, you're first to act. I'll let you 2 say one thing to each other. Wrath, if you want to, if you want to yell a plan out to each other, this is your opportunity.
Wrath, can you get me over there?
Hypothetically speaking,
Can I ready a potion in my hand as an action?
You want to ready an action to administer a potion.
Yes.
I'm going to allow that. Yes.
Wrath, can you get me over there? If I come to you.
yeah,
Yeah?
I can get you over there.
All right.
Okay. Do you want to move closer to him?
Yeah, I'm going to move. I think I can get 10 feet away. Right to here.
So you could move within, like, right up to me, ready your action, and then on my turn, I can touch you and thunder step into, so I can use my ring of spell story. I'm gonna thunder step
Thank you.
over to the Hydra. So now, thankfully, we're all right here.
And I have my superior healing potion ready to toss in your mouth.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that it's come to this. I thought I was being brave. I was being foolish. Wilhelm saying as he's like bleeding out.
I'm just like, take this, as I'm like looking up at Hydra. I'm like, take this.
I was foolish. I was foolish of me to think I could take it. It had so many heads. There were so many heads. Please, I'm bleeding. I can't stop bleeding.
So
How many hit points do you regain?
That's 20 hit points, I think, for a superior.
Superior's greater is 20, isn't it?
Yeah, the superior one is 40.
There you go.
Oh.
You're back.
And
All
then I
right.
turn to this Hydra with fire in my eyes and maybe in my hands.
So I'm back up to 40 hit points. I still imagine that like The wounds, like, I don't know really what healing potions do magically, but I assume that my wounds start to, like, stitch themselves up. But man, does Wilhelm have some lasting scars on his body. And I'm, like, crawling through Rudy, like, past Rudy and Wrath, just trying to get...
I scoot you with my leg just to be like, all right, go. And I'm like standing over you, really.
So Wilhelm, it's your turn. And as you see, as you see the Hydra, you see the head that you stabbed through, it withers and falls off. And because the fire from Rudy's last attack has dissipated, it's about to sprout 2 more heads. What are you gonna do?
Hold on. Let me just take note of... Okay. I'm gonna do a classic move here. I am going to throw a flask of oil at it to set it on fire.
Okay. So do you have a flask of oil?
I am looking here. It says that I have 1 flask left of oil.
Okay. Do you have a way of lighting it?
Currently, no, but it will be doused in oil, so the next firebolt should engulf it, I would hope.
Okay.
Engulf.
Alrighty. So you take the oil and you just smash it, dousing it and covering it in the oil, and the smell of burning pitch fills your nostrils. But
does
it
that
isn't
count
ignited.
as an attack?
Yeah, that's an action.
Then
yeah.
that means that I can then move away from it without provoking an opportunity attack. So I smash the oil and kind of leap behind Rudy, and I'm going to move back, kind of gasping for air, and I pull out my crossbow, and I'm going to fire.
I'm gonna say that throwing the oil won't trigger the crossbow expert.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Then I'm just going to move away, and actually I might run around the corner and recuperate for a hot second.
All right, the Hydra sprouts 2 more heads and now has 8 heads. And it sees 2 delicious morsels, so I'm going to attack Rudy and Wrath 4 times each.
It's better than all the attacks from one person. I'm sorry. This is going to
Rudy,
be rough.
I get a 26, a 25, an 11, and a 17 against you.
2 hit.
So those 2 hits are going to be a total of 26 points of damage. And Wrath, I get an 18, a 22, a 17, and a natural 1.
Woo! When
You
it
can take it, you
bites
can take
the
it.
sand, I go, I dodged.
So the Wrath, that is going to be a total of 30 points of damage. So the heads just shoot out, and basically each head tries to grab each of your limbs and just rip you into pieces.
Okay, now
okay,
I gotta
it's
roll
okay.
some.
It'd be three concentration checks.
I got 16, 19 on all of them.
Okay, great.
16.
That's cool. Okay.
30 points of
Well, and
damage.
the Hydra it grew 2 more heads, so it regenerates 20 hit points. Rudy, it is your turn.
Okay, so rather than firebolting it, what I would like to do, and tell me if I need to roll to hit on this, I have a flint in my pack.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to take my axe and spark it towards the Hydra.
If you use your action to do that, I will give the Hydra a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say that you're... See, I don't know what to set as the DC for this. So you know what? Just make it an attack roll, actually. That would be the easiest.
Okay. So do I roll my Strength on that?
Yeah, just as if it was an attack with your axe, but if it hits, it'll deal 1d6 fire damage.
With my axe, okay.
Yep.
18 to hit.
It's a hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just call it d6 fire damage, but the Hydra is ignited.
So that's 9 fire
Don't
damage.
add any mods to the
no mods?
d6.
Okay, so 4 fire damage.
Alrighty. So it is ignited.
Okay.
And it is on fire.
Okay.
Each of your turns, you can roll a d6, and on a 1 or 2, the fire goes out. But otherwise, the fire stays up.
So that was my action. I am going to action surge.
Okay.
And I'm going to take 3 shots at it. Houdini, get yourself over here. He's way over there, so I'm not going to get the advantage. But now I just start taking shots. Ooh. 23 to hit.
It's a hit.
8 damage.
Okay.
No, 11 to hit. So
Yeah,
that's a miss.
bounces off its hide.
Ooh, that one's better. 25 to hit. Yeah, 25 to hit.
Also a hit.
10 damage.
Cool. You start hacking into one of its heads, but don't quite lop it off.
All right.
Okay,
I'm
great,
gonna move
great,
around it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just around it, just to again pull its focus as much as I can with its heads.
Alrighty, Wrath, it is your turn.
I'm going to, seeing Rudy ignite it. I'm just gonna start laying into it. Now I know we're based with each other, so I'm gonna try to get Bruce to help me. With this
Negate
first
the
shot.
disadvantage. Yep.
Just to make it work. Oh, so close. I got 27 to hit. Almost a crit. For 12 damage.
Which blows off the head that Rudy was hacking off.
Woo! And I want to push it back 10 feet.
Alrighty.
Away from me.
It gets pushed back 10 feet directly away from you.
And then I want to take another shot.
Okay.
This time getting an 18 to hit.
It's a hit.
That's better. 15 damage.
Nice.
And just laying in another Eldritch Blast. So just being based with this creature, Bruce, and we get one of the heads, and I'm gonna step back just a wee bit, and recall Bruce with me to my side.
All right, Wilhelm, it is your turn.
Wilhelm is around the corner hearing all of the commotion. He's pressed up and he's just trying to get himself going. Like, okay, your friends need you. Remember, rule number 100. When you are low on options, do whatever it takes. And he rushes out and comes up next to Wrath and is going to... I'm standing over the cat. I come and I just perch next to Wrath and I pull out my crossbow and I just start firing on it.
Alrighty.
Is Rudy still within 5 feet of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. 23 to hit. So that's going to be sneak attack because thank you, Rudy. 22 more damage.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm going to instantly pull back my crossbow and ready another shot and fire at it again. 24 to hit. This one will be without sneak attack, doing an additional 8 damage.
Alrighty. You actually managed to kill another one of its heads.
Yes.
But basically firing it both in its eyes and the head just goes limp.
Nice.
So it has 6 heads now. Anything else, Wilhelm?
I move back a little bit.
Okay. It's going to attack Rudy with all 6 of its heads.
No.
Getting a 20, a 26, a 23, and a 16.
So I'm going to shield that.
Okay, so that
brings me up to 23. So I think 2 hit.
Okay, so the 3 hits total with the other ones. I get a 27 and a 12. Oh, that's brutal. Sorry, you guys. These D10s like rolling max damage. So that is going to be.
You're not sorry.
That's going to be 39 damage, Rudy.
Oh man.
I'm bloody, but I'm like, I'm ready.
Alrighty. With that, Rudy, it is your turn. You roll a d6 for the extra fire damage that it takes because it's on fire.
5.
Okay.
And let me
So the
just
fire's
update.
still going strong.
Yep.
Oh baby.
Yeah. None of its heads grow back on its turn. It regenerates nothing.
Houdini, you come over here. You know what? I am going to. I gotta get some of this back. So I'm gonna second wind as a bonus action to get 13 hit points back.
Okay.
There. And
Nice,
then
nice.
I am going to take as my action a greater healing potion because I need it.
Oh man.
And actually, Houdini's not gonna. He's gonna come maybe there, just as instead of all the way up close.
All right. So Rudy quaffs the potion, takes the healing. Wrath, we're over to you.
Yep.
I send Bruce in, and I'm going to sort of readjust my position. And take my first shot. We need it. 18 to hit for.
To hit.
That's better. 16 damage.
Okay.
Ooh. And then I fire into the wall. But that first shot, I want to try to send the creature back.
Okay. To there?
Yeah, to try to keep it
Cool.
away from Rudy. Bruce. Rudy, are
with
you
that,
okay?
We go to Wilhelm.
Wilhelm pops in and is going to fire his crossbow again. This time there's nobody around, so I will not have sneak attack.
Sorry, I keep trying to push him away.
No, you're saving Rudy. It just means that I'll be dealing less damage on it, but we're gonna do what we can. Actually, as I run in, I yell over to Wrath. Wrath, if you have any big guns, now would be the time to use them. And because I was talking, I shoot the wall.
Man, I thought I was dead for sure this turn, but you guys just kind of...
I'm like yelling at Wrath, and then I like turn back and shoot to where the Hydra's head was a moment ago, but it had just moved. And I turn back to Wrath. I'm like, damn it, Wrath, stop distracting me. And I'm going to fire again. This time, getting a 21 to hit for 10 damage.
I just survived with 3 hit points.
And
now
then
I get to see if I can take someone out.
I'm gonna move.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna move there.
The Hydra, enraged, is going to rush forward and It is going to rush forward, and it is going to, using its reach, do half of its attacks against the two people who've done the most damage to it, which are Wilhelm and Wrath. So 3 attacks against Wilhelm, 3 attacks against Wrath.
Oh, it can reach me?
It's got 10-foot reach.
Cool.
Nuts.
Cool.
Get behind me! And then it goes right past me.
I get a 25 and a 20. I get a 10, a 25, and a 26 to hit you, Wilhelm.
That's
and I get a 17 and a 26 and an 11 to hit you, Wrath.
That's 2, baby.
Wrath, it's going to be 25 points of damage. And Wilhelm, it's also going to be 25 points of damage.
I'm going to half one of those.
Okay, so that takes you down to 18.
It bites me, and I'm just like, oh, the wounds, they just finished closing.
Mine are full of sand. I've got
Rudy,
sand
it's
in all
your
my
turn.
wounds.
All right, seeing this, I am enraged. Should I do the fire first or at the end?
Go for your attacks first.
Okay. So I say, Houdini, get up here! And I'm gonna take, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. So I'm gonna take that. That is a 16 to hit.
That is a hit.
Oh.
Yay, advantage. Thank you, Houdini. 10 damage.
That is enough to slay it, and with it on fire, that'll cauterize the wounds. As it reaches out with its heads to bite at Wilhelm and Wrath, all of its heads are lined up, and I just imagine you do this like whirling axe blade attack, which takes the heads off one last time. And with that, we will take our break. Chat, let us know your questions about the Drakkenheim book. We'll answer 1 or 2 of them when we get back after the break, what you want to hear a preview of. See y'all in 20 minutes. And we are back from our short rest. We have all finished our consumables and restored all our hit points, and we were ready to play some more D&D. But first, we got some awesome questions from chat. I just want to address, we got a few cool questions asking about monsters in the book, and I would refer you to last week where we actually previewed some cool monsters from the books, namely the delirium dregs. But we got a couple cool questions about the factions, and I feel like I can answer most of them by Snack Daniel's question of what advice does the book provide on role-playing the different factions and their leaders or members. This is an awesome question because Kelly and I, like, one of the biggest things with Drakkenheim is the 5 factions and the conflict between them and navigating all the possible alliances, but also rivalries between the various factions and how to do that. And Kelly and I really worked hard on how to do this in a way that didn't involve having to make a giant flowchart of all the possible interactions that could occur. Because I think what's cool is many people watch, if you watch season 1 of Drakkenheim, there's so many different ways that the factions can work. And so many different ways to think about what are the possible outcomes, about how would they respond to all the different things that your players can come up with. Because the answer is that we designed Drakkenheim to be a little bit unpredictable. That's part of the fun of it. And so, you know, what if your players do want to try to get an alliance between the Silver Order and the Amethyst Academy? Is that possible? Maybe. We wanted to keep all these even absurd possibilities open. So one of the things that we did was we went back to really simple principles. We treated the 5 factions like 5 super NPCs. And just as an NPC has role-playing traits, personality traits, bonds, ideals, and flaws, we created those for each of the 5 factions. And rather than representing any single one faction person, they're the ideals and bonds and flaws that apply to the faction as a whole that you can use for guiding role-playing interactions. Now, what's cool about this is that every faction has a leader, like Elias Drexel of the Hooded Lanterns, and a lieutenant, like River of the Amethyst Academy. And the lieutenant and the leader also have their own role-playing traits. They're fully fleshed out NPCs for you to role-play as well. And what we kind of do is we tell you this, that one of my favorite kind of notes in the book is that the faction's ideals are the biggest, are kind of the things that everyone in the faction believes in. So if you have a faction that does something against its ideals, the members of the faction could start a mutiny and they might just desert. So a faction that doesn't uphold its ideals loses its members. And so what we kind of found with these role-playing traits is that there are all sorts of ways to undermine the factions by making the factions like betray their ideals, if you could orchestrate that. But also these role-playing traits are actually separate from the faction's goals and their objectives in Drakkenheim. So what it actually means is that it's possible, if your players are really clever and they learn about the faction's goals and their role-playing traits and the role-playing traits of their leaders, is you could actually show to a faction, actually, your goals are not compatible with your faction's ideals. Now, whether or not that's possible for every faction, or whether or not that can happen in every case, that's up to you as the dungeon master running a Drakkenheim campaign to decide, am I convinced? Do I think, because, you know, whether or not it's possible is really up to you as the arbiter of the role player to be like, that's a good argument, sure. But it now puts it on the table. So you kind of get this really easy cheat sheet, because you can basically look at the role-playing traits. I think the way we wrote them is that they're like 3 sentences each for each thing. They're really short, so you can flip to that page in the book and there you go, it's all there. And you can basically ask yourself, okay, are my players proposing something that works with these role-playing traits? And it's really cool. Like, some of them are pretty big deal breakers. I think a cool one, and actually I think it comes back to this episode. I think we can preview this. So the Amethyst Academy, one of the Amethyst Academy's personality traits is we act businesslike and professional when dealing with the wider world. So that's one of the personality traits to help you roleplay the Amethyst Academy. Be businesslike and professional. But one of the flaws of the Amethyst Academy is we are researchers and scholars, not warriors. Risking our talented members is wasteful and reckless when their minds can be put to better use. Other lives are more disposable. So that's one of the flaws. Then, of course, the Amethyst Academy does have an ideal, which is they have 3 different ones, but one of them is that we rigorously study and carefully teach arcane magic. We value eldritch knowledge through which we may harness the power of the cosmos itself. We have a thirst for knowledge. So those are, this kind of multi-stable thing is, these traits are statements that you can use to inform how you roleplay the various factions. And they really are a simple template that governs all the other role-playing interactions. And so the cool thing about this is that, like, these are vastly expanded from my original notes of like what the faction believes in. And so I actually think that the act of actually making this for me, it was really cool, because it put me as even as a DM, like, more in tune with these traits and ideals and flaws. And I actually find myself, since we wrote them, since we like rewrote them and built them out from the original notes that I used to run the campaign, I found that they've been a really useful resource, because I can always refer to them and I can always think of the statement. And it's interesting how I think that people will see, like, I kind of am able to weave these statements into how I roleplay the factions as well. Like, you can actually just drop one of these statements if you need to do it in a scene. We tried to be very, precise with these ones so that we didn't have to give you pages and pages of stuff. Now, of course, all the factions in the book will have lots of other details about their background, their objectives, their various schemes and plots and all the things that they can do and engage in, and also all their NPCs and other traits. You could actually use these ideals, bonds, and flaws as a pseudo background if you had a player that was from one of these factions as well. So it's lots of fun and useful stuff that I think will give you lots of cool ways to roleplay the factions, and hopefully make it easy for you as a DM to manage them. Because whenever you basically, my advice for you is, like, whenever your players surprise you, and they will, players always surprise you with the choices that they make, and Drakkenheim is kind of designed to surprise you as a dungeon master. You can go back to these and be like, okay, what does this say? So this is what the faction believes in, so I know what to do. A person who believes this. And then you just get to roleplay it the way you would any other NPC, but it applies to a whole faction.
Nice.
That's a great guideline, I think.
Yeah.
It really helps sort of some grounding.
Yeah, as much as people kind of knock on the bonds, ideals, and flaws thing, it's a really powerful tool. And Kelly and I did an episode about this a while ago on YouTube, and if you haven't seen it, it's worth checking out.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite breakthroughs that we had when we were writing, because we were really trying to figure out like how to broadcast the role-playing elements of the faction. And I think we went from having so many pages and notes and all of that to the realization that like if we just make a few key statements to follow, it really does drive all role-playing. And I thought that was
Yeah, because I think the biggest challenge too is one of the things that I learned in writing the book out versus my own GM prep is like when I prepare to run a game session, I work off bullet points because I need to be able to reference them quickly. And so if you have to flip through a giant book to find how would this faction respond to a situation X at the table, that information is useless to you because where are you going to find it, right? Like, and it means that you have to internalize and memorize more information. By keeping this stuff brief, hopefully my theory is that it'll be easier to run for someone else.
Very cool.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah,
I love it. Thank you for sharing. That's great.
Yeah. So with that, where did we leave off last time?
Well,
I think we killed the Hydra.
I think you killed the Hydra. Yeah.
Wilhelm has collapsed on the sand and is just there. He's not saying anything. He's just collapsed. His eyes are closed. He's breathing, but he's done. He's done with this.
Walk over to you and I say, "Boys, y'all right?" And as blood is dripping down like my face, like I got a big scratch on there. I'm like, that did not go with just fire as we anticipated, and I'm sorry we were not more prepared for that.
Rudy,
I did underestimate this creature's abilities and how many heads it had.
Rule number 37, take the blame when it is yours to take, and I understand that confidence is key, but overconfidence seems detrimental at times, and I may have bit off more than I can chew with that one.
You might have actually had more of yourself bitten off.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it bit you more than you bit it at one point, but I think we got it in the end.
We're all comedians, aren't we? And then I cough up some blood on the beach.
All right, what do y'all need?
Rudy, and I grab your face. Like I know I'm not dying, but Wilhelm's being a little dramatic in this moment.
Little?
You saved me. It was all you.
Well, actually, Wrath got me over there, and you took out some of its heads. I think good group effort, and I mean, I did help you some, yes, but you helped us too.
It was the grace of Bruce that protected us.
Thank you, Rudy.
All hail Bruce.
Houdini, the three of you. You really saved me back there. Not you,
Houdini
Wrath.
did some. He doesn't get much credit, I'll be honest.
Yes, that's right. Rudy can just disappear and reappear at will across in
Wrath, I thanked Bruce. You said Bruce is the one who does all of the stuff. You're just a puppet.
I am a conduit for his power. Although he was hiding with you, he was busy looking for his next meal. It was I who saved. But this is no matter.
I put my hand on Wrath's face and I'm like, you are the greatest puppet that has ever helped me.
Get that blood off me. Get that. Messing up my...
I was like, ointment, not blood, Wilhelm. Ointment, not blood. Do you guys need...
You look like you have less attacks than I do. and I'm finally, like, the shock is wearing off, and maybe I'm taking it in. I would do well with a short rest as we wait for River to approach.
Are we in the haze?
Yeah, but you can short rest.
Oh yeah. Okay, we can.
Maybe we camp just inside the ruins.
Now,
Cool. Do you want to take a short rest and then notify River to make her way in? Yep.
yeah.
Okay. You give her the all clear as you patch yourselves up.
I begrudgingly give her the all clear.
I'm gonna put a thunder step back into my my ring before we short rest.
Sounds good to me. That's actually a pretty cool way to use it, to like use up the spell slot to refill the ring of spell storing. That's smart, Joe. I didn't think about that. That's actually really good. Yeah.
It's the only reason we're still here.
Yeah. Okay. A short while later, the folding boat arrives in the cove with River, her shield guardian, and Valtar Banemoon. They disembark from the dock, and Valtar immediately says, "This is an evil place, but there's something bizarrely familiar about it." River points to the corpse of the Hydra smoldering on the beach. Good job.
It was a piece of cake, River.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Are you okay?
It wasn't.
I'm gonna have scars.
We were not prepared for what this creature was brought, but it was the only thing standing in our way of it being a safe destination for both you and Valtar. So again, praise is recommended.
You know, you can really feel the difference between having a bunch of Silver Order knights backing you up and then trying to tackle a giant monster on your own. It's incredible the difference a few extra bodies makes. Yeah, it is.
We were trying.
We were out-headed.
We were trying a new tactic. We know for the future that we should stick to what we know, and I think we'll be fine going forward.
Wilhelm alone stabbing a Hydra was a catastrophic failure.
Assassination attempts on multi-headed creatures is not ideal.
Stabbed it, and then it just turned out to,
It was like putting a thorn in the paw of an owlbear.
I am used to fighting things with one head and one brain, and when you stab it through the head, it usually is good. Like, we're good. This was not the case, and
it was an unfair duel. It was. If it was a one-on-one, Willem had it, but it was a 7-on-1 or 6-on-1.
I counted its body, not its heads, and I decided that dueling it was good. But it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
We learned a lot. We learned a lot about our capabilities there.
Well, River says, well, I mean, that is a horrible monster, and it's dead, and the three of you are alive. That's pretty incredible.
I mean, I don't know if you want to take its corpse back to the...
Oh, that's an excellent idea. Was it corrupted with delirium?
Very much so.
She turns to some of the gnomes. Yeah. She points to them. Get a cleanup crew here. We'll take it. It's a perfect specimen. It's a little charred, but I think we could study it.
Well, ma'am, let me show you the way to what we found earlier. This way.
All right. You lead River and Valtar Banemoon through the chambers where the webs of the phase spiders once were. Now all that is here is dust and ruin. Through the first two chambers, you eventually come to the chamber with the globe. Again, it is a large circular altar with several rings and spinning discs. Ooh, something's going on behind me.
They're coming for me.
Yeah. And even as Valtar Banemoon steps into the room, it hums to life as he steps into the room and begins rotating and changing, even in a way that it had not before. Several runes flash up on the system, hovering in the air around the map of the Earth. And several again repeat the messages. Warning, anomalies detected. Warning, corruption nearby. Danger, planar rifts possible. Chance for eldritch crossings, 3.9%. Message, cannot establish ethereal network connections. Limited local signals. Restore witnessing runes at celestial nexus. Look, scrying, please wait. Planetary scrying, all these things, they message up of the various runes that you've seen, the warnings, the messages. And Valtar says, I don't know what this is trying to say, but I feel like I know how this works. May I?
Please.
He reaches out with his hands and incants several runes and hums several phrases in Elvish. And there is a flash of various runes, and he produces a small wand in the process. And he says, I need to get it in contact with the tower again, the Celestial Nexus. I was wondering if this would be the case, so I prepared in advance. It should be... Whatever this is a satellite of the Celestial Nexus. It receives the information from, well, there's a great lens in the sky that is connected to the Celestial Nexus that watches from above. This is a conduit for that. And the two of them together, well, now I should be able to make it work.
I'm going to pretend I understood that.
Something's watching us from the sky. I don't feel easy about that.
Well, you saw before that this map, this globe, it looks for traces of delirium. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that it has been fully engaged, it could only show you a local area. Maybe, but now he turns to it, and the whole world lights up. Now we should be able to look at almost at least an entire hemisphere of the Earth at any one time. The range is greatly increased. We'll need to contact the Cloudwatcher lens to move it into position if we want to look anywhere, but your landmass here, and he points to the continent, we should be able to see if there are amounts of delirium. Of course, trace amounts it can't detect, but at least through your whole continent here, we should be able to see if there's more of this delirium.
And of course, looking towards Westamar, is there anything... Of course, I think we established last time that Drakkenheim is might have lit up on there, but Ashhaven too. Anything else that we can see?
Well, activating the whole thing, he shows you all of Westamar and most of Illyria and Caspia are in range now. And what you see is similar to what you saw before. Along the Dran River and around Drakkenheim, it is brightly lit. And in Dransman in the Bay, it is lit, but not nearly to the extent of Drakkenheim. Beyond these places, several points of light also light up. There are flecks and bits and pieces here and there, but the other brightest lights are found around Todsfeld, where there is more, where again, but that is along the Dran River, and along Altbrook, which is also along the Dran River. So the two other cities that are along the Dran River both appear to have concentrations. But there are a few other places that illuminate. Not to the same extent as the others, but it's notable. In faraway Caspia, the port city of Jacksontown has lights lit up. Betwixt Westamar, Illyria, and Caspia is the great free city of Liberio, and there is a bright spot illuminated there. But also, along the road from Drakkenheim, which would take you south from Drakkenheim to towards, and actually what I can do here is pull up our map. So you know that Aschaffen has one of the biggest concentrations in Ash Bay and Dransmond. And then Todsfeld here has a concentration, but all along the Dran River. Altbrook, and of course, Drakkenheim. But there is almost a thin line that extends south from Drakkenheim to Geldstadt and to Leuten. And this road from Leuten leads south to where the free city of Liberio is. But then beyond these, there is a curious dot here at Kesselholm along Lake Dray. And dots lit up through the Kesselwald and through the Ochtenwald forests. And River looks at the map and she says, well, most of this isn't surprising, actually. We know that there's trade of delirium that's happening in Jacksontown and in the Free City. Liberio is the site of the Ziggurat. That is one of the other strongholds of the Amethyst Academy, and that's where we're doing most of our work with delirium, so that would explain that. Remarkable that it can detect it, though.
If delirium flows from Drakkenheim down the Dran River, then that accounts for several of the spots. But what is delirium doing running north of Drakkenheim? Why would it move north up the river?
River says, that's an astute observation. The delirium that we're seeing moving from Drakkenheim to Geldstadt and Leuten, that's probably the caravans that are being brought down towards towards Liberio, and of course we know that it trades out of the ports, but I mean, there's no reason for that much delirium to be in Kesselholm.
Could it be that this delirium is growing? You said it grows. Could it be traveling underground?
Valtar Banemoon is shaking his head. This is terrible. He says this can't be correct. I must have done something wrong. This is not.
Why would you think it's not correct? It's clearly showing, and we know that places like Drakkenheim and throughout have had it, so we can confer that this is in line with our own findings. Why would you think it was wrong?
Well, delirium grows. Yes?
Yes.
Are you familiar with cancer, the disease of the body?
I've seen it from time to time.
It spreads and consumes through the body. If a cancerous tumor is detected early, it can be excised and contained. You have a cancer that is spreading throughout the body.
Like a weed growing out everywhere, taking over, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we go and pick the weed. We go and kill the cancer. It's what we're here to do.
Yeah, yes. But yes, some kind of he loses his words for a moment. You understand that you've seen now that the delirium and the haze are linked, yes?
Of course,
Yes.
yeah.
The delirium grows. Yes.
Yes.
Do you understand what's going to happen?
I mean, logically, if delirium grows, although slowly over time, it will take over. It will continue to grow until it consumes the surrounding land. But that would take centuries.
That's not a very long time.
Ah, elf. Yes.
Longer than I have. I'm almost coming to the end of my century.
The old
How
for
long
the
do your
kids to
people
do.
live again?
My people tend to live, I don't know, 75, 80, maybe a little longer if we're lucky, but
if you encounter a Hydra, maybe a little bit less.
that's also likely. Adventurers, I guess, if you're talking to me specifically, usually much less.
I'm probably one of the lucky few adventurers that have lived to the ripe old age of 53.
Within 2 or 3 of your lifetimes, this entire region, you call this, what you call this land?
Westamar.
Westamar.
With this, and you see your city of Drakkenheim here.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 or 3 lifetimes, the entirety of your land of Westamar will be just like Drakkenheim.
But we got plenty of time that we're on it right now. This is what we're doing. We're getting rid of it. The academy's learning about it, and we're taking out the monsters, and we're collecting as much as we can. Of course, we're going to get ahead of this.
I walk up to the globe and I'm going to point to where Tierhaven is, and I'm going to follow I trace my finger from Tierhaven to Shaftburg. I'm going to be like, there must have been a dot at some point in Tierhaven and Shaftburg. Do they seem like those places are now no longer containing delirium?
Valter clarifies that, like, what will get picked up, like, if someone is carrying like a single delirium crystal, it's not going to get picked up by this. This basically indicates that delirium is growing there.
I mean, we've stopped delirium on our path so far. We still have time. If you're telling me that it's going to take 2 to 3 of our lifetimes, then it seems that our lifetime should be spent acting on this and attempting to solve these problems.
We can train people. We can spread the word about how it goes. Collect those brave to help save the world.
River, how long would it take to extract, say, the delirium from this growth point and sever its roots?
I mean, River says that's unfathomable. Like, you're talking about collecting all of it and containing all of it like that. She says that's not easy. And if it's growing, what if it's growing faster than we can collect it?
Well, maybe we collect some of it, but River, we can't collect all of it if it's going to do this to the world. We got to figure out if it's a weed that needs killing, we're going to need some pesticide to help stop its growth.
I want to bring back into the picture here that, again, the Silver Order might have means of destroying it, and despite our desire to study it, this is spreading faster than it seems the Amethyst Academy has the ability to contain. So, I mean, we have the luxury of a few decades to figure it out, but River, you're more connected to the Academy than any of us. Is this what can we do?
I mean, you're talking about mining a mountain's worth of gold out in only a few 100 years.
Well, what was the Academy's plan? Your goal was to contain this, and it seems uncontained.
There must be a way. There must be a way to contain it.
Yes.
It's
And Wilhelm, this is not the Academy's fault. The Academy did not crash a meteor into that city.
I know. I'm just saying that we might need to expand our options beyond the Academy's capabilities. We might need to think of who our allies are. Who can we call upon? Caspia also needs to be warned. What's happening in the Jackson area there? That's problematic too. And Kesselholm? How did delirium get there? And the dam broke in Toddsfeld, and that place is now flooded with contaminated water. And I have to wonder if those people are okay. There needs to be something that we can do to the Dran River is lighting up. Artbrook and Toddsfeld and Transmund, Drakkenheim, Kesselholm. We have places in Caspia. How did it get to Caspia? Was that because of the shipping? Was it shipped there? Was it brought there?
Possible. There's Jacksontown is, well, the Jacksontown is right along the Middle Sea, so it trades with the nations to the south on the other continent.
So it could be on other continents now.
Almost certainly, yes.
River, you mentioned...
But probably not in the quantities you see. Not in the same amounts as in Drakkenheim and Ash Bay. We could still contain it while the growth is restricted to Drakkenheim and Ash Bay. We could figure something out.
Listen, you mentioned digging up a mountain's worth of gold in hundreds of years. Guess what? You may dig up that gold, but you're not going to have any time to spend it if we don't get this figured out. I think the Academy, you need to take this information back to the Academy and figure out if we need a change of plans to how we're dealing with this. Because as much as I want you to study it, as much as I want you to understand it, I need my family in the next generations to have a place where they can live without this.
River sighs and she says, here's the thing. Again, we might be able to come up with something. I will bring this news back to the Academy. But what if we could turn it around? What if we could use the energy that it has back against itself? What if we could use it as a resource to contain it, fight fire with fire?
You can figure out a way. Quick enough. Not hundreds of years from now. Now would be the time where we'd need it. Or else it's going to do damage that's not going to be able to be reversed.
Valtar Banemoon says, if it grows to the size to encompass all of your lands here, it will fill your earth in only a millennia, perhaps. There won't be anywhere to run.
But we have work to do, and this is no longer a matter of us dealing with the problems in the small communities of Westamar. This is no longer pulling shards of delirium out of people's legs while they transform into monsters. This is no longer just a fish monster in Ash Bay transformed by delirium. This is a global problem. If it has left Westamar, it's there in Caspia. By all means, it could be in other continents. It could have left from Dransmond north. It could have left from Caspia south. We need to alert. The Amethyst Academy is global, aren't they? Or do they have any standing in the other continents? Are there ways we can reach out? Are there ways that
there are? There's a few other organizations similar to the Amethyst Academy in other lands. We don't often see eye to eye, and I wouldn't be surprised if they'd also taken an interest in delirium as well. It's possible that even our rivals could be the ones driving the export from Dransmond.
It seems that in order to contain this, we need to go back to our original quest, which was we need to find out who's shipping this, and we need to stop that. We need to send any information that we gain, anything that we can learn, we need to share with other powerful people. This needs to be on a global level. We need to save the world. And I think
the only other person that I can think of that doesn't want to destroy the delirium. What about those followers of the Falling Fire, Lucretia Matthias's disciples?
I mean, I've only had a handful of...
Seem like radicals.
It seems they love delirium. And that is problematic as well.
But they
Although
don't.
They may have some
But
different
that
ways of dealing.
Lucretia Matthias, she must know something.
They don't
She
turn into
says-
monsters, right? When they put it in their
That's true.
pills, right? I mean, there must be some way that they know that it's not just evil but useful.
So, if there is a person alive, Lucretia Matthias, who knows how to withstand delirium, and her disciples are putting it in their bodies and not transforming, could she have key information?
However she is doing that is... Lucretia Matthias knows some way for her followers to put delirium in their bodies without it corrupting and killing them. There have been individuals who have simply tried to stab delirium shards into their chests, and the result is exactly what you would expect it to be. Lucretia Matthias is doing something special, but we don't know what. You might be on... We could investigate. You could investigate. She doesn't know about you yet.
You don't have... There's nobody in Drakkenheim who can look into that? I
There
feel
might
like
be.
I feel like going to the heart of this all is I mean, I almost just got eaten by a delirium-infused monster out here. I can only assume that Drakkenheim is filled.
Regardless, we have our work cut out for us.
Obviously.
And we have to decide our next steps. This... River points to the map. Voltar Banemoon is sitting down. His head is in his hands. He's kind of like shaking. As much as I would like to explore more of the mysteries of this celestial nexus, the fact is we have a problem on our hands now. A problem that needs investigation and inquiry. Because, Wilhelm, even if we have to destroy it, I'm not sure it's possible, even given 2 or 3 human lifetimes.
Then what would you have us do?
There could be a reason why it's growing so quickly. This substance didn't exist until the meteor struck, and then it starts to grow at unprecedented rates. It doesn't seem that this is doing it on its own. Maybe there's a reason why it's growing quickly, but I believe that with proper understanding of its growth rate, we can sever these tendrils from the source, slow and eliminate the growth rate, and then start to chip away at the source.
Get it at the roots is what you're saying.
Begin to take these childlike appendages away from this creature. And I'm going to try to use the globe as sort of like, as I do my inspiring speech, if we can take off where this it reaches out and tries to envelop the world and push it back towards Drakkenheim, then if we need to destroy it, we only have to destroy it in one place.
Like the Hydra's heads, if we can sever them properly.
Okay, actually that works. I think that works.
Establish, like, bring it back, pull it back. But there's so many tendrils, Wrath.
We have time. And although this looks dire, we have many capable minds, including my own. I count myself as one, if not of the highest quality, to take on such an endeavor.
Wherever my sword and crossbow are needed, I will go. I will continue to do my best.
Well, at least we have a way of monitoring the situation though now. River says, this map, this device, it's quite a find. You've done really well. Far better than I could have expected. And this will be a key tool for us in that fight. If we can see where the concentrations of it are and investigate, we need to find some way of containment, some way of stopping it, some way of slowing it down.
And do you think with these spots, do we start at the spots where it's Latin up on there, like Todseld and Albrook, or do we go straight to the source and fight it there?
I do not believe we have the capabilities yet to fight it.
No. We're working on a few things that might help us, but it's taking time. The resources that we have here might give us a colleague of mine and my former mentor are working on some spells that we might be able to use to help us in some very contaminated areas. But they're not ready yet. Those will take some time still. I think that some of the things that we found here might be useful to pursue that, but we are working on a few methods. In the meantime, it might be worth just investigating some of these unknowns so that we aren't leaving anything dangling.
Would Altbrook and Todsfeld, you would say, are accounted for? Or are they question marks?
There's a plausible explanation for why there's delirium in those cities.
River.
And you said that the Free City, that's where one of the strongholds of the Amethyst Academy is, that has its own deposit of delirium and where you're doing research. So technically that is accounted for as well, correct?
Yes. In the Free City of Liberio is the Enigma Ziggurat, one of the strongholds of the Amethyst Academy. Probably our second greatest outside Drakkenheim. We've done most of our research on delirium there, and yes, we've brought a lot of delirium there. But it should all be contained and accounted for.
I would say then the biggest question, like you said, Wilhelm, is why does it seem to be going upriver rather than down if that's where all the other delirium's been going? Kesselholm.
That, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, Kesselholm's a bit of a backwater. It used to be the home of House von Kessel, actually, before they became the ruling family of Westamar. But, I mean, it's mostly just a castle overlooking a small village along the lake. It's a nice place, from what I understand. I've never been there myself, but it's a little worrying that it's such a small settlement that has so much delirium there.
Maybe brigands are stealing it and taking it to Kesselholm and storing it there for some sort of ulterior purpose.
That or it's up to no good and growing up there for some reason. I think either way, that may be the place where we gotta travel to.
Who is in charge of Kesselholm right now?
River, thanks. Well, let me make sure I have my notes here.
The idea, it's true, the idea, if we can figure out how it travels, maybe it could be the way we could stop it from traveling more.
I believe it changed hands several times, but I believe the current, ruler of Kesselholm is a Baroness Constance Kleinkessel.
I recognize the name Kleinkessel.
Yeah, I think they're a cadet branch of House von Kessel. They cousin of a cousin of a cousin something. To be honest, I don't really. Most of the noble houses, between you and me, the noble houses of Westermar are like so inbred. It's actually kind of disgusting, but in any case, they have a 2-bit claim to the throne, we'll say, but they don't have the money or the wealth of the military power to press it.
Oh, I bet we're gonna have plenty of questions for them when we get there.
We could also just travel to Caspia, see what's happening in Jacksontown.
I think that's
That's
something
what
that
Caspians be doing with delirium. It must be part of the trade endeavor, maybe spoils of war.
it is there on there.
Jacksontown is one of the largest hubs for trade on the continent.
Yeah.
It's right up there with Dransmond and Angel's Landing and the Free City.
That might be one of the routes where it's going, so I mean it's makes sense if there's trade there, that just like in Dransmond, right?
Well, this Caspian link seems like it is driven with purpose. People taking the delirium there, but this Kesselholm link seems wild, almost like it's growing there. If it's moving against its natural flow of the river, then maybe if it's able to reach that quickly, maybe there's something special about this place. Maybe there's something interesting about it, the way it's growing, that we can start to understand more about its patterns and behaviors.
The Kesselwald Forest as well shows a lot of smaller signals too. Something could be going on there.
Forest, the lake, the city, Kesselholm, Kesselwald Forest. I've been to the Kesselwald Forest. I used to hunt there a long time ago.
Really?
I mean, before it was filled with seemingly deposits of delirium, I hunted with my family. We had a cottage near Kesselwald.
Then we have our guide.
Must be familiar with the area. Maybe you can direct us on the best way to go through, because
You
looking
more
at
than
this
anyone.
map, I don't know if there's a way to get around it other than going through the big city, but if we can avoid the mayhem there, it might be easier to get up there if you know a different back way.
I mean, if we head from Free Market, there's a safe passage, I believe, through Kesselwald that we could take that then comes out at Kesselholm.
Do we
And-
want to
Through the
steer clear
forest.
of the Drakkenheim? I presume.
Yeah, if you're plotting your route, you could go from Dransman to Todsfeld, back to Schaffberg, back up to Tierhaven,
Oh, this is my favorite.
through Geldstadt, Landheim, Free Market, and then through the Kesselwald. Or you can go right up from Dransman to,
right.
again, through Glothfen, then up to Altbrook, and then directly to Drakkenheim, and past Drakkenheim to Kesselholm, if you were traveling up that way.
Drakkenheim is intriguing. I've heard stories. It would be a sight to behold the
I've heard
city.
stories as well, and from everything that we've encountered, it doesn't make me keen to visit, but once again, wherever we're needed, I will go.
I think knowing that, of course, there's delirium there, but like the map mentions, there might be some in Kesselwald Forest. Might pertain to go through, check those little bits out, and head over to Kesselholm.
If we are
Yeah.
to travel across this land, how will we reference the map? Will someone be stationed here?
Yes. Yes. We will. Walter Bainman says, I'm not gonna go far. I'll stay here.
Well, this is going to be a long journey to a lot of dangerous places.
It doesn't have to be, River says. You could go on foot, or we could... It's a risk. We do have a teleportation circle, though. We could teleport you much closer.
Where?
We have a place not far from Drakkenheim that we could teleport you to. We would have to... I know it's a bit of an imposition, but it's a bit of a secret. Rudy and Wilhelm, if you were to use it, I would have to blindfold you during arrival, at least for the short term.
Wilhelm, you're halfway there. He's fine with it. Rudy, you could do it too.
I mean, I wouldn't mind going back home to check on my kids and grandkids. I mean, I'm good either way. I could always just send Stone a message to them if we need to get there in a hurry.
Rudy, I do understand that you want to see your family, but I mean, although we have decades, I also feel like the faster we can get to these things, the better.
All right.
And I was just getting used to the air beds.
What about our horses? Did we not leave them? And
They're in Dransman.
can you send us with our horses at least?
We can make arrangements to get you new horses on the other end.
But I just named him. Yeah, he was. I've only ridden him once.
The other thing is, we were on the trail of delirium. We were talking to the Von Beatons.
The Von Badens, yes.
I'm wondering if we should have a chat with them before heading out.
Certainly, if you would like to meet with the Von Badens as a representative, absolutely. I don't see why not. if you'd like to head back to Dransmund and settle up any affairs and get your horses, we could teleport you with them as well if you want to. And
It must also
then
be
once you're
blindfolded. This is an academy rule.
correct, and then we can take it from there. If you did want to check in with the Von Badens.
That sounds like the beginning of a plan. So try to uncover the shipping in Dransmund and hopefully put an end to it. Then teleport us near Drakkenheim, but we will, just to make sure I'm clear, are we visiting Drakkenheim or are we just teleporting near it and then heading into the Kesselwald?
You'll end up a few miles south of Drakkenheim.
I'd say then the Kesselwald it is. Forest, and then head up to Kesselholm.
Very well.
To meet with the Baroness.
Well, with that, that's where we'll end things for tonight.
What a plan.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Hopefully this one works.
why? What was wrong with the last plan? I'll distract it by taking it on one-on-one. Good idea, Wilhelm. Good idea.
We survived. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Does it count as a one shot? If it one hit, did that count as a one hit?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it was technically like 5 attacks, so
One turn.
yeah,
Yeah, one turn.
yeah,
I got mauled. I got mauled so hard.
So good.
yep. Well, with that, a massive thank you as always to our amazing players, Jill, Kelly, and Joe for playing tonight.
And a huge thank you to Kyle for all of the work he does behind the scenes, keeping everything on track. And a big thank you to our Dungeon Master, Monty Martin, for sending us on yet another wild adventure into horrors unknown. So thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
In our game tonight, we used a variety of incredible assets produced by talented artists. They've graciously given us their permission to use these assets in our stream games, and you can use them at your table too. We encourage you to check them out and support these amazing creators. Roll20 with their virtual tabletop, custom maps made by Monty using Dungeon Draft and Wonder Draft based on cartography by Dyson Logos. You can see it all there. Player character artwork by Jeremy Cole, NPC token artwork by Matthias Bourbon, monster token artwork from the D&D 5e Monster Manual, and other source books, spell effects tokens by Gabriel Picard, and music by Tabletop Audio. So thank you, and check them out.
Of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store. We can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts, including Yes, the Dusk Wardens, and way bigger than ducks. Check out bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
The videos that we create here and this live stream are made possible thanks to the incredible generosity of our Patreon supporters. And a big thank you from the bottom of our hearts to all of you amazing patrons out there. If you enjoy the work that we do here on Twitch, YouTube, and elsewhere, please consider joining our Patreon community at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes.
We also have a phenomenal Discord community that is exclusive for our patrons. So you can join us on Discord if you join the Patreon, and you can join in on all of the conversations that happen in there. There's a lot of great conversations. We talk about rules, character creation, Drakkenheim behind the scenes stuff. We also do monthly writers' rooms where you can help Monty and I come up with scripts for upcoming episodes. And we also do monthly Q&As with questions submitted from our patrons. So join us on Patreon and join us on Discord and come hang out.
Kelly and I post new videos every other Tuesday and every Thursday on our YouTube channel where we cover everything D&D. So be sure to check us out at youtube.com/dungeondudes.
And be sure to join us live next Tuesday when we record the campaign live on Twitch. You can check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch the video episodes of the show on YouTube.
And of course, the book for Dungeons of Drakkenheim is coming, head on over to Drakkenheim.com for the latest updates on when the Kickstarter campaign goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week in the shadows of Drakkenheim.